What's up, guys? Bonafide Hustler here.
Rake and Profit in the house.
And Casey the Rockstar Flipper. How's everyone doing?
We are doing well. Hopefully the feed is doing well. We have to do a sound check, so help us out while we do our introduction. But anyways, I'm the Bonafide Hustler. I reside in Austin, Texas. This is my second show I've done today. And anyway, so I buy and resell stuff I find from garage sales, estate sales, yard sales, flea markets, pawn shops, swap meets, and I put it on places like eBay, Amazon, Craigslist, my antique booth, and consignment stores in town. I am one of the co-founders of the Green Room University, which Mr. Steve Rakin will tell you what that is.
Sure. What's going on, everybody? The Green Room University is a website that we've created that helps people to not only get started with reselling, but even to take their game to the next level. So we started that about 4 years ago, maybe even longer now. It seems like forever. But anyways, I'm 29 years old, from Connecticut, been reselling for about 4 years myself. Started on eBay, moved to Amazon FBA, doing Shopify now, and pumped up for the show, man. What's going on, Casey? How you doing?
What is up, Steve and Chris? Thanks for having me here. I am Casey, the Rockstar Flipper, better known as, for those of you that don't know, from Tampa, Florida. I sell mainly on eBay and Amazon. I do a little bit of local sales, and I am the Goodwill Salvation Army thrift store hustler, and my specialty is pawn shops. I do a little bit of electronics, video games, and I mix that up with clothing. I try to balance it out. So that's what I do. That's what I'm about. And thanks again, guys, for having me here.
You're definitely welcome. So I think we sound okay. Let me make sure. Thrifty Treasure says we sound amazing. Just so you know, the sound is all good. Sounds good from Extreme Access. Let me take a second to thank some people that have come to the feed, that have come to say hi. So I'll go to the very top. Henry S. Stonemason, June Cone. We have CK Flip. A lot of these people, Casey, you probably know them just as well as I do. Miners Treasures, who I'll be seeing this Saturday. We have Stonemason, Karen Schultz, David Petit. We have CK Flip. Bunch of other random people.
Karn is in the channel.
Yeah, we have Better Barbie. It's a cool name. Extreme
Love
Access.
Barbie. How you doing, Barbie? I love you.
There we go. And Thrifty Flipside. That's a great name, Rakin, right? What do you think about that one?
I like it, man.
Thrifty Flipside.
Rakin
cool.
approved.
Rakin approved. Dad Life. AZ Mick. Lots of people that I've seen before. Cosmic Thrifter. What's up, man? Hustle and Grow. Again. That's
Jason.
right. 2 shows from my channel today. And then we have Jeff, Stacy, and Dawn.
Jason,
what's up?
Jason Prof Sales is here with Karn as well.
Yeah. And Prof Sales was on your show earlier today, wasn't he?
He was. Yeah, Jason was great on it. Jason's awesome. He's here. And speaking of your second show, the second show for me, but second for Chris, pretty soon I feel like I'm going to have to buy Chris a schedule book and pencil myself into a few slots before I send it to him. Because, yeah, you're a busy guy, so.
I am, man, but at the same time, I enjoy talking about the stuff that we're going to be talking about today. I still do eBay. eBay's fun. I was thinking about today. I was actually at Rudy's Barbecue here in Austin, Texas, which is 2 exits down from my house. Rick, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And lo and behold, in line while I was ordering my barbecue was Pinching Pesos, Deborah Godia. And
really?
So, yeah, we said hi and all this kind of stuff and, talked about stuff. And while I was eating my barbecue, it dawned on me, eBay is a really good business if you have, and I was looking at Deborah, and, if you have a home, a house, permanent residence, kids, maybe dogs, you're not really getting up and, laptop lifestyle all the time. So it's a really good thing if you have a good home base and you have commitments at the city level, right? You know what I'm talking about, Rakin? If you have a place that's really well established, then eBay is one of those things that can give you a pretty good income on the side while you work on other things or you have a normal job or whatever. Casey, what about you? You have a house or 2 or something like that, right?
Yeah. So we have a small office. It's actually part of our neighborhood that we rent. I did for a long time have everything in the garage. So I kind of expanded, obviously, but eBay is, it gives you an opportunity to sell items you couldn't otherwise sell on Amazon or to get started. And if you can store it in your house or at your home, like you said, you can really, build a solid base, a couple thousand, dollars, even as you work your regular full-time job. Being that you pointed out Deb, I think she actually went over to Amazon. She was a lot of eBay. So she has a lot of experience with that. She's now big into Amazon. She did a lot of sales last month.
That was one of my biggest struggles when I was new, Casey and Chris. When I was brand new to eBay, I was living at home with my parents, and I only had a 200 and a 300 square foot bedroom, not even. And you need the space for eBay. You definitely do. And when you get started, you don't need a ton of space when you get started. You don't necessarily need a house. You could be in a little 600 square foot apartment, but you're going to notice once you hit 100, 200 items, you're going to be looking for space. And my progression was my parents' house to a little 150 square foot, what was it, like a little storage locker, and then I transitioned over to an office space. How was it for you, Casey? Did you start at your house?
So we had an apartment before. We've been in this house for close to 4 years. We had an apartment before this. It was 1,000 square feet, so we didn't have a lot of extra room. And when we were selling out of the apartment, it was just the two of us. So we had one spare room, and that room just filled up quick. And at that time, I would say I probably only had 300 or 400 items on eBay. So there wasn't a lot. And, now I have 2,000 plus 1,200 on Amazon. So yeah, I remember those days at the apartment. Inventory overtakes you with a quickness. I mean, I don't imagine we were more than 300 items, and we were like scared to open the door to the spare bedroom at times. Like,
dude, I remember when I took all of my personal clothes out of my closet and switched them out to a business to all my eBay inventory, and it was crazy. I don't suggest. I tell you right now, I don't suggest if you're selling clothing to store it in the room that you sleep, especially with, over here, the clothes. A lot of clothes are clean, but the dust, it's just, you got to be careful with where you store your stuff. So.
Yeah, you can't let it overwhelm you, and you can't, if it does start to overwhelm you, you can't just pick random spots to put it, because it will not end well. Like, the garage was not the best idea. That's when we first moved in. We didn't know what we were going to do, and that's when when we bought this house 4 years ago, that's when I was like, office, like, we have to. So.
Well, there's a really good first question that kind of came in, and this is not one of the things we're going to be talking about today, but this is a perfect question to start off the show. David Petit says, Petit, I guess, how do you keep track of all those items without losing something? I think this is a fantastic question because, like Reagan said, it doesn't take very long until you can ramp things up with eBay especially. And then you talk about Rockstar Flipper here with 1,200 or 1,900 items. So let's answer that question real quick. Casey, from David, how do you keep track of all these items without losing something?
You have to be organized. You have to have a good inventory system. I put this on one of my 10 reasons that people are failing, and it's because they don't have an inventory control system. So we use the standard bins, and each bin is labeled, and every item that's listed is corresponding to said bin. And then for my video games, because I'm so big on those, we have bookshelves and bookshelf numbers, shelf 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you have to be organized with a bin system or a shelf system or a closet system, wherever it is or however it is you're storing them. You can't just bring stuff home and just dump it. Like, I see people with piles, and I'm like, oh, like, once it's listed, it's got to go somewhere.
How far did you go, like, when you were new? Because I feel like most people, I'm going to just assume that like 99% of people who get started with eBay, they start with no inventory system, and then they're kind of forced into it because they lose so many items. They're like, I'm going to get kicked off with all these cancellations. That's what it was like for me. I think I was at around the 300 mark in terms of clothing inventory, and I had no system. And I think it was one day I like lost like 2 items. I'm like, holy crap, I got to figure something out. Chris and Casey, did you guys ever have, a time like that when you were new and you had no system and you kind of hit rock bottom, or something happened and you're like, okay, now's the time I need to figure out a system?
I think for me, it was really quick after like some of these massive garage sale hauls that I'm notorious for doing. It was just, I was really good at listing the items. And then for me, it was one of those, like, I would put them in, like, not said bins like what Casey was talking about, but these little black trays. And I would have 3 or 4 black trays from the weekend filled up with goods. And then I would, what got me kind of like irate wasn't the fact that I couldn't locate something, was the fact that as soon as it sold, I had to like locate it in the bin. Then I had to like box it all up, and it really got me kind of stressed out. I was more reacting to everything. I was like, do I have the box for that thing? Do I have bubble wrap? Like, and that's what got me kind of pissed. And so what I did was I start boxing all my stuff up. But before I do that, I do, bona fide fresh finds for the green room. It's a private show. I do private hauls for the green room, things like that. But after that, I mean, this stuff goes into a box by Tuesday. It's all out of the way. It's where it needs to be. It's up on a shelf. And as soon as it sells, it's good. But I think all these things that you need to be doing properly stem from some sort of, I guess, despair, right? I mean, Casey, you know what I'm talking about? Or Rakin, like despair being like, I can't find the item, or despair being, well, Steve, this is not working,
Yeah, I had a similar to Steve, but it was far worse. So we probably should have had caution tape on that apartment door. I kid you not. So it was around the 300, 400 mark, and I was losing stuff. We would spend, I can't even tell you how many hours. We would have to put everything out of the apartment bedroom into the living room and then take it back in one at a time till we found the item Well, we did end up losing an item we never found. And so we canceled the order. It was a big thing. The woman was just irate. And I think like 2-3 weeks later, we found the item laying in the middle of a pile just somewhere. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And that's when I was like, this will not happen again ever. Like, we knew it was there, but we spent, 3 days looking for that item. And I just was like, how many hours a day are we wasting? Like, at the time, we were selling like 3 or 4 items a day. And I'm like, we spend 2 hours looking for 3 items. Are you kidding me?
And the worst thing is, when you don't have a system, this would happen to me. I'd sell like 4 Brooks Brothers shirts that were like nearly identical the same day.
Yep.
And you're increasing your odds of shipping the item to the wrong person by like 1,000,000%. So you guys, have you ever had that happen, Chris, where you send one item to the wrong person? Like you kind of flip flop them. Has that ever happened to you guys?
It's happened to me on some shoes, and I was thinking, I could tell the person that got the wrong shoes to sell it to the person that needs the right one, and the person that has the wrong one to send it to the other person. But the right way to proceed is to have them both send it back to you, and then you send it off to those people at 0 cost. Like, that's what I did. I refunded all their money, both parties, and I sent them the shoes, because I was like, that's an epic mistake to have. And I felt bad, and I was like, you know what, sometimes you have to really punish yourself, I guess, for doing something that's stupid, you know?
Yeah, crisscrossing orders has happened to all of us, and my most recent one, and I'm embarrassed to say this, it happened 2 months ago. For those of you that don't understand, like, this is one of our bins. This is our small bins, and you guys know I sell a crap ton of neckties. Everybody knows I'm the tie guy. So the tie will just be labeled in the subtitle or the SKU with A. And we ended up with 2 striped Calvin Klein ties in the same bin, and they were both blue and white striped. They were so close, and no one realized it, and we shipped the person the wrong tie. They were totally cool with it. We sent it out. We fixed it. But even a bin system has its trials sometimes.
Can I give you a little suggestion of something that I've done in the past? Don't just throw the ties in there. What I used to do is, you have a bin with like the letter on it, A, but put the tie in a poly bag and like mark it with a number. So now you have a letter and a number. Yeah. But I get what you're doing. You're trying to kind of save time. And I've done that before, and you should be fine 99% of the time. So.
But it only takes one, which happened. So now I told, with like a t-shirt, it's kind of easy. The only thing that's going to happen is if you had the same t-shirt, different sizes, which is very rare. But with ties, these ties are so close, a lot of them. So now I told my fiance, I said, we're going to get some clear bags and number the ties. Like, that's what's going on. So I agree with Steve. I recommend that. If you're going to have a bin with multiple items, bag them and number them. That way you can.
Because I've done that before. I've screwed up on ties. It's a very easy one to do.
We did. It's been 2 months. So now I'm like, red tie, it's like a purple or it's a purple.
Hey, I got all the ties for 12 cents at the bin. Send them all to them. They'll get the one they want.
So I do. We are going to start doing that with the ties for sure. We're going to number those.
Okay, so before we get started with the actual show, and we're going to kind of try to blast through it if we can. First of all, we have Casey, the Rockstar Flipper here. Casey, how do people find your YouTube channel? And if they go to your YouTube channel, what are they going to find?
My YouTube channel is Rockstar Flipper. It's all one word, exactly how it sounds. You can find me on any social media, eBay, or YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the same. It's just Rockstar Flipper. I'll pop right up. My YouTube channel is a little bit of everything. It's obviously my hauls. Everybody loves the haul videos. If I go to Goodwill or Salvation Army or Pawn Shop, whatever I bring back, I show you what I bought. I do a little bit of filming inside of the places that allow it. And then I also do general tips like the bins, the organization, the storage, the after effects, because it's not just all about buying and selling. There's more to it. So I try to touch on those subjects a couple times a week as well.
Okay. Is there any chance that you have a video about how to wake up on time every morning? I'm just kidding. It's an inside joke because you have a video that's called "How to Wake Up in the Same Time Every Morning." What is this called?
How to wake up. Well, I think I titled it "How to Wake Up Early in the Morning" because a lot of people kept messaging me telling me they got super motivated the night before. They watched my video. They want to get up. All of a sudden they wake up. It's like 10:30 and they're like, "Damn." And I'm like, well, what's the problem? Don't you have an alarm? And they're like, yeah, it's my phone. And I just pressed the button and shut it off. I'm like, oh, I remember like a year ago, I was terrible. I used to sleep till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock every day. Like I was the worst. And I was like, I saw the results and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So I kept setting the alarm to my phone. It did no good. I'm just like, I'd crack my phone screen pounding on it to shut it up. So I'm like, I'm just going to charge my phone out in the dining room. And when I hear that annoying alarm go off, the only way to shut it up is to get out of bed and go out to my phone. Once I'm out of bed and across the house, I'm good. Like
Rick, did you hear that?
Yeah, I do a similar thing. It's funny, but I do a similar thing. I actually bought an alarm clock on Amazon. I typed in annoying alarm clock. I literally typed that in, and this alarm clock just like goes crazy. It's like the house is on fire. Like it's the most insane noise ever. But that's a really good tip. Make sure you put your alarm clock outside of your reach, because once you're up, right?
Yeah.
I read a whole book about it. It's like, get up, wash your face, brush your teeth, and like every step that you do after getting up, you're like increasing your odds of not laying back down. So that's a good tip.
Yeah. Once I'm up, once I'm out of the bedroom, I'm on it. I'm like bouncing around. But like I've even gotten up sometimes and sat on the edge of the bed, and then I wake up like 3 hours later. I'm like, crap.
Just don't go back to the bed and say, I'm just going to lay here for another minute, because
it never works out right. It never works. You're right.
I've missed some crazy good church sales that way. I'll tell you.
So let's go through the number one reason, beginner mistakes. What I like about these mistakes is once we go through all 10, you'll realize that these are not necessarily just what beginners make mistakes on. A lot of intermediates and experts will make mistakes here too. So I think this is going to be a really good show, and definitely pay attention. If you have some insight, put it in the feed. We would like to see it. So number one, Casey, I'll let you take this one, but not offering 30-day returns. I'm going to be completely transparent with you guys. I don't offer returns on all my goods. I just don't, but selectively I do on certain ones. So not offering 30-day returns, is this a blanketed approach, Casey? Like, how do you kind of do this?
Yes. And I used to selectively choose items not to offer returns on. I sell a lot of broken electronics, so I was very cautious on like, I don't want somebody to buy a broken electronic, take what they need out of it and send it back. With that being said, people still did it and people still got away with the returns. So I figured if I'm going to take the risk of somebody getting one over on me, I might as well offer a blanket 30-day, get the top rated discount, because 30-day return, the only items that qualifies with 30 days. And I did see an increase in sales. I tested it initially for a couple of weeks, turned it on, turned it off, and then turned them all back on, and sales tick, 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 tick. So it builds kind of a trust with customers. And when I turned it off, I got a ton of messages asking about my return policy. I was flooded with messages from people asking what my return policy was. So ever since I turned it back on, I've stuck with it.
I've heard some mixed things, because I'm a top-rated seller. Hold on, let me read it right now from my store. Top-rated seller with highest buyer ratings. Is that the top, or is there one above that one?
Top-rated plus is for buyers that are top-rated and offer fast free shipping.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there a way, or is there a badge that comes up if you do returns plus 1-day handling? Does it say fast and free? Or like what comes up? Because different badges can come up on eBay. Like if you just set, like if you put free shipping, a free shipping badge comes with a little truck that looks like it's whizzing by, right?
So if you have free shipping and 1-day handling, you'll get that fast free, the little
right.
The badge. Yeah. So that's one badge, and then top rated is its own. That means you're above the standards. And then if you got both of those combinations, you'll get top rated plus.
Interesting. Okay, that's pretty interesting to know. Okay, so
I will say, and I'm going to stop you there, is I don't think customers notice the difference between the two.
Okay, so it's more for you and saving some money here and there, right?
Yeah,
it gives you discounts and stuff.
Yeah, I think you just need to have one of them, and that is the confidence builder for the customer.
Yeah. See, Hustle Grow's saying some interesting stuff. It says fast and free, even if you use parcel select, which is true, because
correct.
It's just weird. It's the fact that you put free shipping and you have the button checked. Not necessarily. It doesn't matter how you ship it. It's the fact that you say free shipping. So that's interesting. So
you got it.
So the returns, is it 14 and 30 or is it 15 and 30? What aren't there two of them?
14.
3?
14. I think there's 3. I think there's 7, 14, and 30. Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying 30-day returns. That's awfully steep. So why do you say 30 as opposed to maybe a 14 or something like that?
I don't get the discount unless you offer 30-day. Okay. And for me, it sounds crazy.
Go back to this discount real quick, Casey. What is the discount exactly?
eBay offers a top-rated discount if you are above standard on all the metrics, like your late shipments and all that. And if you offer a 30-day return on the item with 1-day handling, it's got to be both 1 day and 30 days.
There you go.
You don't have to offer it on every item to keep the status, but the only items you will get a discount on once you hit the status are the items that you provide that on. So if you selectively, like let's say you go out of town for a week and you put, or for a few days, and those items that sold do 3-day shipping, you won't get a discount on those fees, but the rest of your items still will. So
okay, it's cool.
yeah,
That's interesting. Okay, cool.
and it's 20%. Insane Kitten just pointed out it's 20% on your final value. Which
Right.
for me, I do. I did what 20,000, almost 21,000 in December. So that was at 10% normal fees, 2,100. I saved 20%. I saved $420 discount in fees in December was my credit. So
That's great.
it's pretty
It's
big.
Like
I know.
like getting a raise of that much, really.
Yeah, and I know most people are not that large, but when we're talking about somebody doing $5,000, you're still saving $200. I mean, it's still $100, whatever it is. It's worth your time. I mean, do it.
Right.
I think.
Right. Okay, so number two is number two mistake that most people don't do, not offering one-day handling to compete with Amazon Prime, because Amazon Prime has now conditioned us to want things faster, quicker, and right? So when you say not offering one-day handling, look, if you do one-day handling and then you ship it out parcel select, that's not really that great. Like we're talking one-day handling and some priority or some 3-day FedEx or something like that. Casey, do you do one day and do you expedite it too to make your customer happy?
Yeah, I offer one-day handling on everything. We ship everything out next business day. If you pay before like noon, we ship it out the same day because our USPS pickups around like 2-3 o'clock. So as far as the shipping, I pretty much do all first class items. So my description box states that it's first class, which averages between 3 to 7 days. But the typical shipping time is 3 to 4, which I hardly have somebody get it longer than 7. Obviously, if an item's over 1 pound, I always do priority. Very rarely I do anything but priority, which is 2-day shipping. So yeah, Amazon has conditioned 2-day shipping, which it hurts. Even though you're right, even though we offer one-day handling, it doesn't mean the customer is going to get it in 2 or 3 days. It just depends on how it's shipped. So half the battle is getting the customer to buy from you just to compete with that 2-day shipping.
I had a friend, sorry to interrupt you. I had a friend who, this was probably like 4 or 5 months ago, he was getting started with eBay and he called me up and he said, I was having trouble with my sales. Could you look at my store? And I noticed that he was offering, I think it was 3-day handling time. And immediately, because he didn't know, he's brand new to the business. He thought 3 days was fine, right? And I feel like a couple, 5-6 years ago, maybe it would be fine. But he changed that immediately to 1-day shipping. And he also increased his shipping time. So he was doing a lot of slow shipping services and he increased that to, priority and whatnot. And his sales picked up instantly, it was no doubt of what the factor was. So it's big. And then like Chris was saying too, I mean, you could offer 1-day shipping time, but if you're, I had this happen to me when I was shipping out some of my bigger items not a couple months, but it was about a year ago. I was experimenting with FedEx. What's it called? Smart Post?
Smart Post.
Yeah.
And I noticed my sales were kind of slow and I was trying to figure out what it was. And I think it was that Smart Post, because when they go to buy it, it'll actually show the date on the listing when it arrives. They're not necessarily looking at the shipping time, like the handling time. I think they're looking at what day it arrives. And sometimes it's gifts. Sometimes they're traveling. You don't know what their reason is. So, I agree. And the whole Prime movement is definitely, conditioning people to get the items fast. They want it now. And I'm curious to see what people are thinking when all these drones and stuff start landing around town.
I was going to ask you about that. What do you think do you think eBay is going to try to counter Amazon Prime in any way?
I don't think
they can. I don't think that's the business for it. I think they even said and they issued that they're not really going after Amazon. Like their whole business model is different. It's more one-off, things. And eBay was based upon auctions, when it first came out. So they're definitely in that game. I just don't think at this point it would be a smart business move to even go after Amazon if you're eBay.
Right. And to address that, you're right. eBay is kind of the items that sometimes you can't find anywhere else. They're unique items.
Right.
Amazon is the constant. And so when it comes to business supplies, the majority of the time, it's time sensitive. So I'll buy it on Amazon. And if I can't, I'll go local. The other day, somebody, I won't name any names in case she's watching, didn't tell me we were out of bubble wrap, and I couldn't order it, and I went to Office Depot. I didn't go on eBay or anywhere else. I was like, can't get it. If it wasn't what I needed wasn't on Amazon at the time. I'm like, Office Depot.
Let me ask you guys a question. How many more views do you think Amazon is getting per month versus eBay? 5 times the amount, 10 times, 20. Because I know 50, dude. I know the exact number. So you're saying what, Chris?
I think it's 20 to 50 times. That's just me.
Okay. What do you think, Casey?
I think it's got to be at least 3 to 4.
Last month, Amazon got 2.5 billion views to their website, Amazon.com. So that's everything on Amazon, which could be publishing.
Let's
everything.
have the people guess in the feed, Raykin. Why we don't just have to talk about it? What was the question again?
I already said it, so I'm
okay,
gonna
well, we don't know.
Amazon got 2.5 billion views last month, according to this what's it called? This Chrome extension that I have that shows the amount of views. 2.5 billion views last month. Amazon got. eBay got 1.1 billion. So it's not as big of a difference as you guys would think. Like I thought that Amazon would be like slaughtering them like 20 times as many views. Like let's not forget, eBay is a beast. eBay is a monster, and I think a lot of us are just like we think that Amazon is so much bigger, but eBay is really, really big too.
That's crazy. What is that? What is that? 83 million a day? That's crazy. That's a lot of views.
It's a Chrome extension called Similar Web, and you can actually see how many views each website's getting. So, I mean, it's pretty crazy.
Wow. We have a comment right here from Mischievous Mal. What's up, Mallory? Loved your video in the green room, by the way. Walmart poses an imminent danger, is what she says. I think so. I think if anything could take down Amazon or even rival it, it would be Walmart. I mean, that Walton family, they're pretty
since Steve was pulling out some numbers here, people don't realize that Walmart made more profit in 1 year than Amazon has made in its entire existence. They have the pockets.
Walmart's going to be coming up on their online game. They do. I just looked. They had 316 million views last month. So believe it or not, eBay. Who'd ever think eBay would be squashing Walmart with online views? But I Walmart is I guess they're mostly known for being a retailer, brick and mortar. But I think they are going to come up, Casey. Walmart's going to be coming up. I don't know what they're going to do, but they're pretty massive of a company.
they're approving a lot of third-party UNI sellers on Walmart Marketplace right now. Like it's easy as pie to get approved.
You know, what's interesting about Walmart, I think, is like if they want to convert, if the stores start doing poorly and they want to convert to fulfillment centers, I mean, literally a store could be a fulfillment center. If you think about it, it's just a shell in a box, So they could do all kinds of stuff with those stores. You never know.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's some weird things that can happen. I mean, they have a lot of property out there, and they have a lot of good locations that's like close to freeways. I mean, they've built it smart. So there are things that they can do with their actual infrastructure that they have in the present day. So let's go to number 3. Number 3 is just a bunch of photos, right? You're allotted 12. Am I correct? Yes, I think 12 on eBay. Yeah, 12 on eBay. Casey, even for the smallest tie and all that kind of stuff, I mean, are you smoking up all 12? Because I would think with a tie, you would only need like 6 or 5. Like, what are you doing with 4? You're doing 4, okay.
Smaller items, we do 4. Bigger items, something like a jacket or a coat, we would be 6 to 8. I don't typically use 12. A lot of people have that thing. And I actually did my own market research. Most people said they look at the first 4 or 5 photos. And I actually went through all of the items that I bought for myself. And I'm like, I didn't click past 3 or 4. Usually I knew what I needed to know after 3 or 4 photos. Unless it's something totally unique or totally detailed, 4 or 5 photos is probably good. We do 6 on bigger stuff just to be sure. Maybe like a pair of shoes needs 8. But I can't see you needing, people want to see the sole, the heel, the toe, the inside, the tag. You can come up with 6 photos, 7 photos. But
I'd like to chime in and say I agree with that. I'd say if you're brand new, I would smoke up as many pictures as possible because you're probably not going to know what the person wants to see. But I think when you get more experience, like Casey does and his employees, they kind of know, like when I'm depicting a shoe, I know what I want to show and what isn't really important. But the worst thing you can do is take too little of pictures, right? Have you ever guys got that message where they're like, what's that look like, or what's the size of that? And you're like, I could have avoided this if I just took an extra picture.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah, that happens occasionally. We have some items where I'll look and there's 5 photos, and I'm like, well, or even 8 photos. I'm like, you took 8 great photos, but you missed the one important one. And just get every angle. If it takes 12, do it. If you can get everything in 5 or 6, and once you learn what angles they're looking for. The way I learned about photos was I went and looked at everybody's other sellers that were selling the item I was selling. I looked at what everybody else that had sold, the items that had sold at a good price. Like if a lot of people sold them at 10 or 15, somebody else sold an item for 25, I looked at it and said, why? And then I saw their photos. I'm like, well, there's why. So that's how I learned to take a lot of good photos.
I would say 50 to 60% of the stores of the items that are in my store have 12 exact photos. In fact, I've shot probably 16 and I had to come down to 12. And it is because, and I can tell you this with utmost confidence, it was confirmed by someone that I talked to on eBay for like damn near an hour. But it was confirmed that actually having 12 photos actually gets you higher in search. So that's what the lady on the other line told me. That was actually eBay. Yeah, she told me a lot of things that were like super awesome secrets. But anyway,
who knows
that was
how big
definitely
of an
one of them.
impact? Who knows how big of an impact that actually has? The algorithm, like you know.
Yeah,
maybe
exactly. I don't know what
0.5%,
part of the
who
algorithm.
knows?
You're right. It could be something small in the algorithm, but literally, I was trying to figure out the algorithm, and I was having her help me out. So that was the reason of the whole call. Yeah, but she confirmed. She's like, put 12, and I was like, okay. So that was definitely one of the things that, I mean, I had a bunch of scribble on this paper because I talked to her for so long, and she definitely.
I would bet other resellers, if you ask that, majority wouldn't know that.
You know, that's just what she told me. She told me 12, and so I try to really max 12 as much as I can. Like I said, I take a lot of good pictures of my stuff to where sometimes I have 14 and 16, sometimes even 20 pictures, and I have to like whittle down to 12, and it kind of sucks. But
well, let's just be real about it. I mean, conversions are never going to go down with too many pictures. I can see conversions going down with.
I do it because I don't want to answer any more questions from people behind the scenes. If you take more pictures, you don't have to tell as many. You don't have to answer as many questions, right? So that's the reason why I really do it. But
and when I think about us posting, taking an extra 4 photos would be seconds. So I think I'm going to probably talk it over with my girls and see what they think about it. It literally wouldn't take very much more time.
Casey, I have a
Hoopy
question.
the Real says, hold on real quick. Hoopy the Real says, yeah, if you and others sells the same item and the other seller has 5 photos and you have 12, then you bump ahead in the search of that person.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Casey's
like, oh crap, 1,900 items. Now I gotta like go back.
Casey, let me ask you a question. When you're snapping all these photos, or your employee is, and they're uploading it, are you having them crop it and like adjust the contrast and lighting, or is it literally get the lights right, get the get everything ready to rock and roll?
Rakin, we are like jumping ahead of the outline here.
Rakin's, yeah. Well,
I'll get excited, man. If you sent me the link a little earlier, man, I wouldn't have done it.
Bird. Well, anyway, I'll be happy to answer that question at a later date in the chat.
Oh, wow. Kissing up to Bonafide. Come on, man. Next time you come on Raking Profit channel, I got you.
I got to make friends somehow this week. I haven't made too many this week. So.
Yeah, you know what? Rakin wants to jump ahead. So let's just jump ahead to number 6, but we'll go back to 4. So like number 6, backgrounds on pictures are non-distracting. That's a big fail because a lot of people. Okay, so I saw something in the green room today. This is just kind of like ha ha ha. You see it in other rooms, but like people that put a female in the picture and it's voluptuous female and has something, they're showing like a calculator or a video game. The one of the green room today that I just saw literally like an hour ago was some girl holding a 007 cartridge like this, and that's a very distracting kind of background, right? Like that's what I'm trying to get at, is that you have to have a non-distracting kind of background when you want to really connect what the item is to the person across the screen. So non-distracting backgrounds, a lot of times when you see people doing those little photo grid boxes and those white things and they're hitting from all angles, that's a non-distracting background, right? That's just all you see is the item. When I take pictures in my gym, I have a non-distracting foam background. Like you don't see anything else but literally like the floor, so it's non-distracting. So you definitely have to get a non-distracting background. You don't want to have anything around or some Cheetos laying around or your cell phone in the picture or something. You want to have your item be the only thing that they're thinking about when they come to your listing. But to go to Rakin's point, lighting is everything. Rakin, you've made tons of videos about correct lighting on your channel, and to the point where how many angles are you hitting? Were you hitting your items at like 3 on your shirts, 4?
Yeah, about that. But like you said, lighting is important. You can have you can have a lousy camera with really good light, and the pictures are going to look awesome. And at the same time, the other side of the coin, you could have a Canon 70D powerful DSLR camera with horrible lighting. It's going to look like crap. The lower end camera is going to beat it out. So having like people even ask me too, like, Steve, like, how's your video so crisp on this live show? The camera is no different than anyone else's, but I've got the lights directly on me. Plus, I've got the white background, so it all comes together. So literally, what I'm doing on video, it's the same thing with images.
Yeah, the lighting makes a huge difference on Steve, because we use the same camera here, and actually Steve told me about this camera, and it makes a huge difference. The lighting is pretty much everything, definitely.
Yep. So definitely think about that. Non-distracting background and adequate light. Very, very important. Number 4. Let's talk about number 4. We're going to go back now. Keywords, keywords, keywords. Keywords are so freaking important. It's not even funny. I think keywords literally are the most important thing. That's in my opinion. I think there's nothing more important than good keywords. So let's talk about it in respects to a necktie. Okay. So let's just say it. So basically, this is what the person on the other line told me at one time, like item, color, gender, model, brand, right? Item, color, gender, model, brand. That's basically what she told me. So item being, what the hell is it? It's a tie, right?
Yep.
Well, let's not go with a tie. Let's go with something else. Calculator, okay? Graphing calculator. Color, okay? It could be a silver edition, could be the pink one, could be the see-through one. Gender, okay, what's anybody? So you don't have to put that. Model, TI-87, right? TI-86, TI-83, sorry, why did I say 87? It doesn't even exist. But TI-83, TI-84 Plus, brand, Texas Instruments, very important, right? So all these things literally are so important to rank you in search that if you were missing one of those things, you are not going to come up closer to the top. So, and the funny thing is, I mean, some people get so, they're like, oh, I got to blast through 100. I got to do X amount of listings today. It's like, that's not what, the quality of the listing is so important. If you're going to sit there and blast through 50 listings in 2 hours and you're like, yeah, I got 50, that's great. But if you have 50 low quality listings, you didn't win. You're not winning at all, right?
That's
you're
right.
Almost shortcutting yourself like 30%. Like, is that what you want at the end of the year to go? I could have made 30 more percent if I just wasn't hurrying through everything.
That's right. 50 listings, and when you wake up, you sold 1 versus you listed 20 qualities that sold 10. Which would you rather have? So,
true, man.
Yeah, the keyword thing. Like if you're selling electronics or video games, it's pretty easy to come up with the keywords. You can always, again, the same secret I give to everyone. It's not a secret. Look at other ones that sold. You can find keywords by looking up other items. You're going to look them up to get a price anyways. You're going to look them up when you bought them to research them. Why not get the keywords out of it while you're looking them up? And that's even more key for clothing. Like electronics, video games, iPods, we pretty much know to put TI, Texas Instrument, 87 graphing calculator. But with a shirt, it's not so cut and dry. It might be a V-neck. It might be a crew cut. It might be, a 3/4 length. It might be whatever it is. So a great way to come up with keywords is other similar sold items and ones that actually sold, not that are sitting.
That's right. So let's go back to Casey's point. You want to, when you're doing your research, go to go to your solds first. Okay. If you're messing with items that have barely anything sold in the past 90 days, shame on you, because that's really not the business model that is going to win in the long run. You're going to have a big inventory issue at the end of the year, and you're not going to hit like eBay. You're not going to like reselling. The whole purpose of doing this is to make money, have fun, and pound out inventory, right? That's basically what it is. So what you want to do is you want to definitely go into the sold, take a look at what's sold in the past 90 days, sort by highest and focus on only those like top 3 or 4 listings and go and, copy word for word or hit the sell similar button and adjust a couple things. But essentially those up there are populated with very strong keywords, extremely strong keywords. And, that's why the sell similar button is so amazing. But the sell similar can also get you in a lot of trouble if you don't know what you're doing. All right. So the sell similar button basically mimics that entire listing and puts it into a template for you to work on immediately. Okay. Without the person's pictures or anything like that. It blanks all that part out, but everything else is the same. Everything else is the same. So that will get me down to number 8, which is drop down menu fails because of sell similar. You ever seen that before? You ever done that before?
Oops. Yeah, that's a huge, that's a big one. And thankfully I've caught them, like as I hit the submit button, I'm like, oh, I can't open a new tab quick enough. So Chris is right. When you sell similar, which a lot of you do, and remember this is a tip I give you when your item ends and we're relisting it or we're clicking sell similar, it's going to copy everything, the pictures, including the quantities, including, everything about that item. So go through the listing and edit keywords, because somebody might put in their keywords, brand new or new at the end, and you don't realize it, and you're selling a used one.
Sometimes it's in a different currency too, and it like messes everything up.
That's true too. I've seen that before. Yeah. And so everything is mimicked, and you don't know what that seller had in their listing. So just scroll through it, read their keywords, read everything, make sure your price is where you want it to be, make sure everything is correct before you hit that submit button, because it has happened to me. I've hit the submit button, forgot about it, and it sells like 10 minutes later. And
the most common mistake I make with that is with the clothing. I'll have extra large in the title, and I just it just slips by me when I'm looking through it in the item specifics, and it's large, and then the person buys it and they're like, it said it was a large and item specifics, but I'm like, oh crap.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yep. And that's the size thing is something you don't know how many times I've had, thanks to you viewers, somebody message me and go, hey, your shirt says medium in the title and 3X large in the description, and the item specific says 1X. I'm like, fantastic. We'll get
I've
right
had
on
viewers save me too. When I was a couple months ago, when I was doing a lot of listings on my phone, I would use the voice command, and I don't remember what the swear was, but it was like, extra large shirt, go F yourself. Like it said, I meant to say something else, but a swear got auto-corrected it into something like really bad, and they messaged me like, you sure this is supposed to say that? And I'm like, holy mackerel.
Yeah, that could have been
rushing and not like, sometimes you got to just tell yourself like, let's calm down for a second. Let's because when you're in the zone, guys, right? And you're just like, you're just pounding it out, and you're looking at the numbers, but you're like Chris said, the quality. All it takes is one
mistake. And a mistake like that can be a big one. Like that can definitely do some damage. Yeah. So I think the moral is just make sure if you're going to use that sell similar and pull off of it, just double check everything before you hit that submit button. It only takes a minute.
Okay. And there was a really funny comment here from Garage Flips. He goes, I hate it when I steal a title from a sold and it says free shipping on it. When I do sell similar, it doesn't catch it. That's pretty funny. Anyway,
could you refund me the shipping, please?
Yeah, it can get you in a lot of trouble. So you have to make sure. And a lot of things on the sell similar that'll get me kind of messed up. Not all the time. Like it's probably 1 out of 40 items. Not even that, but it'll be color. Like color is one of the big ones. Like color, it says brown, or sometimes you get the people messaging you like, it says brown like as the color, but it looks more like gray because your drop down menu says gray, and like, oh my god. But yeah, sell similar is one of those things. So just remember, it's a really good cheat to get good keywords, but it's also one of those things where you must look at the drop down menus, and you must look at just I don't think you have to look at the shipping so much or anything like that. It's just the drop down menus, because when I do sell similar, it kind of defaults to my free shipping already and everything like that. But that's just me. I think, yeah. Do you think eBay, let me ask you this, because on my listings, on my descriptions, I put free shipping continental USA. The second they think eBay sees that, I think they mark the free shipping box automatically when I put that in my description. Is that confirmed or not confirmed? Because I don't ever pay I pay for my shipping, but like I literally don't ever like tell anyone like it's going to be $7 in shipping or $9.99 in shipping added. No, like I don't ever tell anybody that. So, but I put free shipping in my description, and I think eBay automatically clicks the free shipping button for me.
No, I at least not for me. Free shipping is in our template that we copy and paste. So
maybe I'm just on the same template I've been on for 4 years.
It's possible, yeah. Because there's times that I am doing the drafts because my girls don't actually submit them; they just create all the drafts and then I just submit them. So I'm double checking. But I sometimes have to select the free shipping. Most of the time it's checked, but there's a few that I catch it where it's not. So
hey, let me ask you out of my own interest, how often would you say, not to throw your girls under the bus, but how often would you say you go through those drafts? Maybe you have 100 drafts to go through, you find an error, or you switch something out. Have you trained them to the point where there's usually not many mistakes? Or
not many, but probably. So on average, a part-time and a full-time employee are getting about 60 listings a day. And depending on what we're listing, I would say there's one every other day, 3 or 4 a week. So
what kind of mistake? Like a keyword or a photo?
Usually it's nothing major. I don't find a lot of size or keyword errors too much. I find like they forgot free shipping. I find that they forgot to do best offer. Occasionally I'll find where they typed medium in the title and it says small in the description box or something. I find those occasionally.
So what's your process exactly, real quick? I know we have a couple more questions that Chris wants to get through, but what's your process with all these drafts that are sitting there? Like do you just like start from the top and go all the way down to the bottom, or like how methodical are you and like going through each and every little individual detail to make sure it matches up?
I'm slackerish kind of, but I do so I do a bulk edit. So I basically just open up all the drafts and click complete drafts, and then I'll insert all my prices because I know what I want to sell everything for pretty much. I've already researched every item. So I'll just type in all the prices. Takes me a couple minutes. You know, I'll open 60 drafts and just write the prices. And then I'll make sure everything's got free shipping. There's a thing with the free shipping. You can just scroll down and look. I make sure everything's buy it now. Everything's 30 days. Everything is best offer. You can check all that stuff pretty quickly. As far as the description boxes are concerned, Well, the titles are in the bulk edit screen, so I can look at those pretty quick too. That's where I catch a majority of our errors, is in the titles. The description box, there's a little right-hand side in the bulk editor where you can click it, and it slides the screen to the left, and then you can see the listing. And so I can see the description box at that point. I'll usually go down and look at most of them. Typically, if I go through 10 or 15, there's not an error. I'll just go ahead and post them all. And it happens. There's errors, occasionally. That people message me once a month that something gets an error. Not many slip through, but it's just the nature of doing volume like I'm doing. If you're listing 5 or 10 items a day, you can check each one individually. But when we're listing 60, 70 a day, I just do the best I can to try to catch everything I can.
Okay.
If I took the time to check every single one, our volume business model would be destroyed. I'd be there for hours. So,
okay. We have another tip right here, which is fixing the mobile friendly. This one's very interesting. This is definitely not I don't think it's really a beginner mistake, but it's more like an everybody's mistake at this point. So definitely pay attention to this one. So Casey, I'll let you take this one because this one, you know a lot about it. But what does fixing the mobile friendly mean with regards to eBay and listings?
Okay, so obviously, for those of you that don't know, last year, mobile purchases were responsible for a slightly over 50% of all orders made on eBay. This year, that was 2015 through fourth quarter into 2016. This year, I've heard, and they haven't crunched the numbers yet, but it could approach 70% is the number that I've heard, is mobile purchases. So you want your items to be mobile friendly. And what eBay means by mobile friendly, I just looked into this more right before the show. It's a couple of things. It is the description box. When you type that description box on desktop or when you list it initially and it's not mobile friendly, your stuff can kind of be that run-on sentence thing that happens. And so when people are scrolling, they kind of have to like shrink it or make it bigger and move over. The mobile friendly creates it in a column that fits all in your screen. It'll fit right here and they can just scroll down it. So that's one of the things that mobile friendly does. And it also creates the that more friendly, like the item description, one on top of the other rather than being spaced out. So that's I guess that also helps with people not reading the descriptions because they don't feel like trying to maneuver it. So what eBay has done is when you open an item, go to your active items and go to revise an item, you can scroll down to the description box and do this after the show and you'll see what I mean. Go to the right-hand side, right above the top right corner of the description box is a button that says mobile friendly checker. Click that and it'll tell you, yay, your item is mobile friendly, or no, you need to fix it. If it's no and you need to fix it, it'll give you a button to click again and it fixes it. The problem with that is it's one by one. If you're going through your active listings, you'd have to open every single listing, scroll down, click the button twice, wait for it to load. That's very time consuming. You got 20 items, great. If you've got 2,000 items, it's not going to work that well. So the solution is to bulk edit. Select page 1, 250 items, edit them, go to the bulk editor and select all. And at the top is that what part do you want to select? You want to select the item description. Once you're in the item description, go to the HTML. You'll get that box where it's standard. Your standard is where you've typed your description. Go to the HTML box, which is blank for most of us, it's blank, and paste a one-line sentence of code, which we have. And I don't know, Chris, if you want to provide it or...
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let's just do the due diligence here. Put it on your Facebook. Is that cool? So everyone go to Rockstar Flipper's Facebook, and he'll post the code right now.
Yep.
And that's the way that I just want to make sure people find your stuff, man.
Yeah. So on my Facebook will be Rockstar Flipper. You can just type that in. It'll go to my business page. Give me about 15 seconds. I'll have it up. So this code that I'm going to pay or that I'm going to provide, you paste into the item description box and hit save. It will save it to all your listings that are in the bulk editor. Hit submit, and then all of your items will be changed to mobile friendly. I heard some people saying, well, which ones how do I know which ones to edit that are not mobile friendly versus mobile friendly? Don't worry about it. Select all, edit them all, and then you'll know that they're all selected rather than going through them one at a time and trying to figure out which ones are which.
Crazy tip, man. Crazy tip. That's what I'm talking about. So there are many reasons why we wanted to talk about this, but there's also many reasons why I thought Casey would be the perfect person to share or actually deliver this information to you guys, because he knows what he's talking about when it comes to eBay. So that is pretty eye-opening stuff. And you're right. I mean, if everything is going mobile, I mean, it's not if everything is going mobile, you have to be optimized for a cell phone, right? If you're not optimized for a cell phone, you know, people look at items and they click things left and right, swiping this and that way. You might have 1 second for that person to land on your eBay listing, and you literally have 1 second for them to go, am I annoyed or not? That's literally what's happening. When I go to places, like, I can't, let me just take it from here. Like, when I go to Facebook, right, and I go every day because the green room's on Facebook. So, and then I take a look at other feeds in my normal personal feed, and I'll see some from like, I don't know, it could be like IFL Science or one of those other ones. But if it's something like where I have to rifle through so many different like right buttons, you know what I'm talking about? That little right button, like hit here and you'll see what the rest of the story is, and hit here the rest of the story, hit here the rest of the story. But you had 20 clicks, man. You get so annoyed. Anytime I ever see something that's remotely like that, I literally get off, right? Or if I see something that's not even like formatted correctly and it just looks like, you know what, I get off. I'm gone. So you literally have like 1 or 2 seconds of someone's attention span in this world, because everything is so fast. The cell phone is one of those things that you can literally like be away from a transaction within one swipe of a finger. Does that make sense? Right, Raken? Like, you could be almost like, yeah, I'm going to buy it. And then it's like something ticks you off and you swipe one direction, gone. You'll never see that item again. You'll never be on that listing again. You'll never be on that Indiegogo thing again. Like, you know what I'm talking about? That's how fast our society moves. Like, you don't get much time to connect with the consumer out there. You do not get much time.
It's sad, because I'm the same way. Like, the second I don't care if that product's $5 and it's a $500 item I'm buying. I'm just like, no, like, I'm gone. Like, get off. The only screens that I can continually just keep clicking the 15 buttons over to read. Every time one of those Kardashian thumbnails come up, I have to keep clicking.
What is wrong with you, man? Oh my God, this show is going so well. Oh my gosh, dude!
I ruined it. No, it's so true. Yeah, it's so true. I wonder that sometimes, how many of my listings weren't conducive to somebody buying the item from me, and I'm like, man.
You know what? Like, a human being starts off with like 20 cool points a day, right? And literally, you just lost all 20 with that sentence.
Well, the problem is I lost all my cool points for the week already. So
yeah, you're in like a serious cool points deficit, man. I'll ask the feed right now. How many cool points did that guy just lose with that comment? Like, you can just tell me right now. A human being only gets 20 a day, guys. 20 a day. I think he lost 20, like, straight up in a matter of a split second.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Bro, okay. Mail says Kardashian, like, that's it. Like, you could be in a deficit for the rest of your life.
Well, that's how my weeks go. Somebody said 21. Wait, that's like I'm totally gonna blow the show here, but did you guys see that the YouTube subscriber thing was back to being aired out today? And viewers, listen to this. If you, I guess, subscribed and then unsubscribed and subscribed back to somebody, instead of it showing that they had lost one and then gained one back, it would go to like they lost 100.
What?
And gained one back. So then the net would be 99. It's not what actually happened. It's a YouTube visual error. It's just showing it that way. But somebody did it to this one big YouTuber that had like a couple 100,000 subscribers. He actually went to displaying negative YouTube subscribers on YouTube. His subscriber thing said negative 1,000.
Oh my gosh.
And somebody said PewDiePie lost like 5 million subscribers today because but it was just visual. Because everybody found out about it and was just doing it to him. It was hilarious. They've since fixed it. It doesn't work anymore, but it was for hours and hours today.
Oh, wow. Jeez. Well, yeah. Well, if we can have an agreement on the next Green Room show, let's never say Kardashian ever again. How about that?
Okay. Well, you've said it more than I have already. So
that's true, man. I might be in a deficit already, dude.
So me and Steve actually had a side bet before we started to see how many times we could get Bonafide to say that word in one green.
Good. Well played, man. Well played, guys. Okay, let's go back. We have a little bit more on this outline to go, and then we'll be good. So we have 9 and 10 left to go here. I love number 9. Number 9, I think we are all guilty of. Okay, and this is one of those things. It's not beginner oriented. It's just one of the, I think even up to expert, we definitely go through this. So failure to assess your product properly. Gosh, I can tell you right now that if you're sitting there, like, I think it's more for like people that are in quick buying situations, like bin kind of things, right? Or garage sale kind of things, and you're buying all these items, you're like, holy crap, biggest haul ever, you show it off and everyone's all excited, and then you go to list it and you're like, oh, so excited, and then before you know it, you've shipped off a sweater, wool sweater that has a tiny hole in it, right? Or you've shipped off a T-shirt that says large, but if you'd taken the time to actually like look at it a little bit, it's more like a medium, right? It got shrunken or something. So that's what I'm kind of saying. Failure to assess the product properly, shrunken clothing, holes, odors, right? Odors, big one. Faded, whatever. It could be canvas, it could be faded leather, and you don't, because sometimes when you take these pictures, I mean, if you take multiple angles, that's great. But a lot of times, parts that are faded, you might not get to it on the back of a jeans, for example, like something, right? You just have to make sure that you take good pictures and you show where things are kind of wrong, or holes, or pilling, I guess is the name. You know what pilling is? Someone taught me today. I thought it was piling, but it's pilling. It's when those little tiny
pinholes. Yeah.
It's not pinholes. It's like these little cloth balls. It's common on neckties. You'll see it sometimes. These little tiny fabric balls, and you have to anyway. So they're on cycling jerseys all the time too.
You gotta be careful with those because customers hate them.
Yes, that's like a total like indication of wear. But and then also like not testing like things like electronics, right? Not testing certain items that you're like, oh yeah, here, it's a freaking waffle maker. I'm like, dude, the easiest thing to test on a waffle maker is just plug it in, put your hand in there, and sink it down and see if it gets hot. I mean, literally, that is the test. And
oh Lord.
No, I'm dead serious. I told my brother that the other day. Like,
disclaimer, please. Disclaimer, Chris.
I told my brother in Goodwill the other day. He's like, oh my gosh, a Villaware, and it's sitting in the garage right now. He bought it, right? And he's gonna ship it off. He's gonna put it to FBA, but I was like, how do you even know if it works? And he's like, I don't know. I'm just gonna test it when I'm home. I'm like, bro, just like plug it in, stick your hand in there, and make a waffle real quick. And he's like,
can we see both of your hands? I want
to. But that's what you do. It's not, look, those things they gradually get hot like an oven.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
I follow it.
He's right. You pull your hand out when it gets too hot. I mean, that's what everyone.
I've tested an item at a garage sale. I asked them just to plug it into their outside thing real quick, just to try it out. So. For sure.
Reagan is smiling like he's gonna.
I'm laughing because
really stupid.
Because I just saw on your Facebook, Chris, all the new shirt designs that you created for Bonafide, and I'm thinking about like Bonafide Hustler with like a hand in a waffle maker or something.
I can get it made, dude. I can get it made. But yes, new Bonafide Hustler t-shirts are right around the corner. Go to my Facebook if you want to see what I'm talking about.
Instead of flip that shit, it would be test that shit.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, like more like waffle
that shit.
Waffle that shit. Anyway, yeah. So assess your product properly.
And I ruined the chat, right?
Oh, I know. Yeah, no. If you're a male and you start cussing a bunch, like you actually gain points. By the way.
Turns out. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm making notes of all this just for
these are my rules, so there you go. I'm the one who issues out all the cool points, by the way, if you didn't know. Okay,
or
so
take them away.
Make sure that you assess your product, whether it's a tie or whatever, this and that. Make sure you're looking closely for, pulled strings. Casey, you mess with a lot of ties. Pulled strings, like these little things, right?
I was wishing I had one here.
Or even like missed knits, right?
Yes, things that you wouldn't notice, like inside, like underneath arms or inside of collars, like stuff peeling on the inside. Like you're looking something over and everything looks great and fine, and then it turns out that the inside is coming apart or something. I have a list. I created it. I don't have it here, but for my employees, for my girls, they probably don't look at it anymore. And if you're listening, girls, I know that you're not looking at it because I've caught some stuff recently, just FYI. And they do an amazing job. The thousands of items they go through, they do an amazing job. But the list that I have has all those possible defects. It's for clothing is what we major. Holes, stains, rips, check it in lighting, check the insides, check the tags, make sure the tags aren't falling off, all that kind of stuff. Check the underarms. Underarms were our like ultimate nemesis for a long time. We missed underarm stuff. And it wasn't that we listed it and we sold it and shipped it. It's that I was missing stuff buying it, and then they were missing stuff. I would go in the photographs and see it in a photograph, like in a draft. I'm like, whoa, like no go. And then I'd go pick the shirt up, and sure enough, there's the underarm. So we made a list of all the possible defects for clothing. And so I know they used it for a long time, and they train their brain. But if you're trying to train your brain, make a list, and then you'll never forget to check those items. So,
Rakin, talk to us a bit, because you used to be a big clothing kind of guy. Like, can you echo in on what he's talking about, or did you do most of the quality control with your business?
Sorry, I was looking at the comments. Are you specifically asking like when I'm inspecting an item or when I'm going to
inspecting your clothing? Like back in the clothing days, and you had 300 items, 500 items, whatever.
I had up
like kind of like what was your quality control kind of looking like on the Rakin?
Well, the biggest thing was making sure to double, triple check it before you bring it and get it cashed out. but also I would train my employee who was taking pictures to do, to do a look through of that item. So like, for example, like certain items are a lot easier, like t-shirts, you flip it in, flip it out. But like, for example, like a sport coat or like a sport coat with like some lining, you've got to make sure to like pull it inside out, because there'll be rips in the armpit. There'll be issues with the lining inside the sleeves. There's so many different things, buttons, the material. So checking before you purchase, and check out of that thrift store multiple times. And then whoever, if it's you or if it's an employee listing that item, make sure that they have some type of inspection instructions. Casey, do you give instructions for them to inspect it as well?
Yeah. So well, when I'm out buying, Steve's right. The number one way to prevent mistakes is check it before you buy it. That's one of the tips I gave, like at the outlet store, because the outlet store, I think, is a place that a ton of people make the mistake. They're just piling stuff in and then they just check out and buy it. You can pile that stuff in your cart, go about your picking, go about your sourcing, and then before you roll up to the cash register, go through each piece. If you find something, just chuck it back, get rid of it. So Steve's right. Pre-purchase is the number one way to eliminate those mistakes. Once we get it home, I have that list of all the clothing defects of things that we've discovered or come across, checking the inside lining, checking the pockets, checking the collars. We flipped up collars so many times and found just stains all underneath the collars that I didn't find while I was at the store because, well, I didn't even think, hey, flip the collar up, whatever. And so those are all things, once we learn it, we added it to the list of make sure you're checking all this stuff. And the third check and balance was when you're taking the photos, because that's when you'll think everything's good. You'll throw it on the mannequin. You'll be like, whoa, as you're taking that photo. And you're like, what a great photo of a stain. Oh, my God. Yeah. So just triple check. And if you're a one-man team, then you got to check yourself. You got to check it before you buy it. You got to check it when you stick it on the mannequin, and you got to check it when you're listing it. So you don't want to make that mistake. The worst email in the world is to come home, somebody bought an item, and you get that email the day it's delivered that, hey, I just opened this shirt and there's a huge stain on the pocket. Like, that's the worst message in the world to get. So,
okay, so we're about to be at number 10. Before we get there, I'm gonna take a second and let you guys know to, we're talking about all these items and things to resell, and we're talking about, mistakes not to be making on eBay and all that kind of stuff. So very important. But the real question, that the real question that a lot of people have is like, now that I know that, like, not to make these mistakes, help us out with like, what to look for and like what the items to look for. So first of all, Rockstar Flipper's channel is really amazing. You have to check it out on YouTube. All right. So Rockstar Flipper, all one word. And you can connect with him also on, I want to say you're also on, are you on IG too?
Yes.
I thought I saw you on IG the other day.
Yeah, I do use Instagram. I use it a lot more now. I think I have like 3,500 followers, and a majority of you guys are on there. Everybody's jumped on there, and it's a great way to share our finds and products that we buy. So if you want some ideas, I mean, there's a ton of, everybody on IG is taking photos of the items we buy. So if you need, some brainstorming of what to look for, that's the place to do it. I mean,
cool.
For sure.
So definitely check out that and YouTube. We'll go over number 10 here in 1 second. I want to take a chance also to let you guys know about our PDF that we have for the phone. So I want you to check out Casey's IG for sure. Watch about all of his videos on his YouTube channel, especially their alarm clock one, Casey. No, anyway. No Kardashian references anymore from those. I haven't seen any. I've only seen
video tomorrow. It's coming.
No. Anyway, but I haven't seen any with Kardashian references, so they're all safe, guys. They're all good videos on his channel. Check it out. On our side, we have a PDF that you can put to your phone. It's called 100 Amazing Items to Resell. The link is the first link down below. It's a free PDF. Go get it. We're about to be in an amazing garage sale season. Also, a lot of these items that you're finding here, you can find them in bins, you can find them in auction places, you can find them at Goodwill, thrift stores, all that kind of stuff. So 100 Amazing Items to Resell, great guide to get. We're about to create another big thing soon. And, for the people that have this guide, all right, we want to do a quick poll. I have to poll the people because we have 198 people here. It's the perfect time to run a poll. Oh. And that is, we're going to create something else that's free soon, very soon, like within a month. What would you want that to be? You want a beginner's FBA thing? You want a beginner's eBay thing? Do you want, a collaboration with something? Do you want private label stuff? Do you want wholesale, more wholesale? What do you want? And we're going to take all these kind of suggestions and see if we can get commonalities there and figure out which ones to really issue out. So something very important that we need from you guys right now. And on top of that, there's got to be some smashing done soon. Rockstar, there's some lacking of smashes going on right here. Do you know what I'm talking about, Rockstar?
I have a bit of an idea, and it might have something to do with that giant thumbs up that turns blue when you hit it. It's right below the video screen where it says 194. It only says 91 likes. So if you guys haven't already, please, it means a lot to all of us. Go down there, smash that blue thumbs up button, make it turn blue, and we would love you guys. Thank you.
That's right. Hey, and also Casey, one little quick tip for all the people: if you love the YouTubers that you watch, you like Casey, Rockstar Flipper, you love Raken, you love my channel, and whoever else you really like to watch. Most important thing is hit that bell close to the subscribe button. Okay, I think it's to the right, if I'm not mistaken. Hit that bell, and it's going to notify you anytime that person is going to go live. So it helps everyone out, helps Raken out, helps Casey out. It's going to help me out, and because we go live at these odd times sometimes, especially Casey. You go live at the most odd times ever.
I do.
Driving in his car going live.
No, he has done that. He did it on his 24-hour stream.
I did, yeah.
We were on your car.
I had a chauffeur driving me that day, and before I got there, I drove my car to him. Yep. That bell right to the right of the word subscribe. It's down on the opposite side of the viewers. One click of that, and you'll get a notification the second somebody goes live, or the second that we post a new video. So it's great to catch recorded and live videos. So make sure you do that.
Okay, so number 10, the last thing we want to talk to you about beginner mistakes, I think really it's pretty obvious. It's just shipping it out too slow. We discussed this at the very first thing, but you're sitting there like, okay, parcel is like, I'm going to say $5 if I go parcel, and priority was $5 more. Look, if you just shipped it out priority and put that $5 in your price, that's the real question, right? So I think a lot of people need to start looking at it that way. This whole entire world is going to a fast-paced kind of like buying society, and if you're doing parcel, that should be really reserved for like the really like absurdly large things with weird 46 inch dimensions here and there, like really rare type instances. And even if you're going to be messing with USPS parcel, you really need to be checking with FedEx 2 to 7 day. I have 2 to 7 day smart post, so I know it's going to vary if you're in Florida versus Connecticut versus Washington or California. I'm in the middle of the country, so I get 2 to 7 day. It might be different for everyone else out there, but really you'll figure out as you do more shipping with eBay that adjacent states are typically a priority type thing. States that are very, very far from you are probably going to be a smart post thing. And very rarely do I ever find myself doing the parcel. Do you do a lot of parcel? Raken, did you ever do a lot of parcel, or Casey? No?
It used to be competitive like a while ago. Now parcel's like even more expensive, it seems.
Yeah,
like.
it's ridiculous. So
I want to mention something, Chris, real quick. The link in the description, I don't know if you ever changed it from the Nicole State show, but that link for the free book, 100 Amazing Items to Resell, does not work.
No. Okay. Well, we're gonna put the new link. Ray could put the new link right now in the feed if you can.
Okay, let me grab it. I'll be posting it in a second, but keep going.
Okay, cool. So that's basically, you'll get the link in the description. By the time you see it now, it'll be not live. It will be fixed. But Rickon's going to put the link in right now. The link will get you this guide right here.
Yeah, not working. So yeah, get that fixed.
Sorry, Rose.
The shipping. No, the shipping. Chris is right, and I was just going to say it goes back to my my needing supplies for the company. People will spend. I'll spend $5 extra to get it fast enough. Because remember, a lot of people buying stuff are doing it on I need it for a birthday. I need it for a present. I need it for a business supply. I need it for a calculator for a college student or a high school student. They need it now. They don't need it 10 days from now. I mean, 7 days from now is even too long. So people go over to Amazon for that Prime shipping, just to get it quicker, or they're willing to spend. That's why people are willing to spend on a $15 item, $19.99 or $22.99 to get it faster. So you might as well put the extra $5 that you're going to pay to ship it faster into the price, sell it, and get it to them with good customer service. That's going to get you good feedback and get you the sell. So,
yep.
Whoa, like there's a reason that Amazon prices are almost always higher than eBay. There's absolutely a reason.
Yeah, it's in the speed of the item usually too. You're right. So yeah, the link is fixed, by the way, right now. It's already done. So go check that link right now and you will get all that stuff. So, okay. So that's pretty much it. That does the show. We are 12 minutes over. Casey, thank you so much for being there. You also can be found in the green room under Casey and your last name. Everyone knows who it is if you're in the green room. I do want to take a second to always thank you, Casey, because you've done a crazy trajectory on YouTube. I mean, I remember when Raken told me about you not even a year ago, and you're like, hey, Bonafide, this Rockstar flipper. He's kind of come out of nowhere and he's rising fast. And I was like, oh, cool. And then I watched your videos and I was like, oh, you know, actually seems like a pretty nice guy. You know, seems like one of us. So
I was scouting him out, man. I was in the stands watching him, man. He's throwing 100-mile-per-hour fastballs, and I'm like, this guy.
It turns out I spent about a week begging Steve to mention me to you, because I was like, I can't talk to that Bonafide guy. He's like, he's way. I can't talk to him. There's no way. Like, you got to give me a good word, man. You got to give me a good every day. I was like, Steve, please. No,
I told him he had a girlfriend, but he didn't stop.
No, but you have a, you know, your rise to 22 or
22
and change. Honestly, I think you've earned it all. Yeah. And I definitely want to tell all my people right now, go check out Rockstar Flipper's channel. And I'm pretty sure they all from here have seen your channel, but go subscribe to it, hit the bell, because homeboy goes live at the weirdest times on earth. And you can connect with him as much as possible. If you're definitely into eBay and now into Amazon, because your Amazon started what, 3-4 months ago? It seemed like, or something like that, right?
Yeah, I started Amazon big last year, up and down all year long. So,
right.
Yeah,
but you really started hammering at it. I saw some of your videos. And
yeah, about fourth quarter. I prepped for fourth quarter. I really, past the summertime I prepped. So you're right. I mean, I don't have as much experience as everybody else, but I went as fast and hard as I could, because I was like, sales, fourth quarter. So, yeah.
Yeah, so definitely check out his channel for all that kind of stuff. You got plenty of videos. He goes live almost every single day. Hook up with Rockstar Flipper. You know how to find him on YouTube. Till the next Green Room Hangout show, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And don't forget to answer that poll if you get a chance of the next free item you want us to build. Even if it's not a live show, we're going to see those comments come through. We would greatly appreciate it. And the last thing is, Rakin, what do they do, man?
Man, you got to smash that like button. Show some love, If you appreciate these videos, I mean, these videos are free. And, just the tip that Casey dropped, man, earlier about the mobile tip, just hit the like button, show some love. I mean, it's 100% free. Show some love. It lets us know we're doing a good job and helps to get the video out to more people. So with that being said, peace on the streets. See you next video. Casey.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Steve and Chris, for everything. And anytime, you guys are welcome. Thank you.
All right. See you guys later. Bye-bye.